So for today's video, we're going to start with a warm-up. You'll see I have my landmine rig set up there, so with the yellow plates and the Olympic bar, but many of you won't have access to something like this. You can put an Olympic bar into the corner of a room to steady the end of the bar, or you can simply use a dumbbell for that exercise, but we'll come to it shortly. So first thing I'm going to do for the warm-up is a shoulder exercise. I'm getting organized here in the background to find a light band, and the first exercise is an external shoulder drill. So what I'm doing here is I'm tucking my elbow into my side. I'm not moving my upper arm, I'm rotating it outwards. So I'm standing a little bit away from the bar, going a little bit further there to make my work a bit harder, tucking my elbow in and then rotating my arm outwards. So what I want to do is keep my shoulder blade nice and steady, pressed against my back. You can see it from the back here. I'm trying, now this band is a little bit heavy for me. I'm trying not to rotate my upper body as I do this exercise, but you can see I'm having a bit of difficulty with that because the band is a little bit heavy. So I'm trying for 12 reps on each side. Now we're going to move to a slightly heavier band and do a Pallof press. So I am planted strongly on the ground, and I'm literally pushing my two hands together forward and back. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using my core muscles to stabilize. I'm using my obliques, or the muscles at the side of my abdomen and around my waist, to stabilize my upper body. And I'm literally pushing my arms forward and back. So also mobilizing through the sides of the shoulders, using all the stabilizers in the shoulders. And again, we want to keep the belly button gently pulled back towards the spine. Okay, so this is a prone exercise. Again, I'm using a band, and it's prone because I'm working my lats, or the muscles down along my sides, coming into my lower back. Again, I'm not racing through these exercises. You can swap sides. I'm doing them consciously, trying to feel the muscles along my sides and warm them up. So I'm just starting to feel those muscles warm up now. Okay, I'm back to a lateral raise. So with this exercise, what I like to do is point my baby finger up towards the sky a little. And what that does is it really isolates the medial deltoid. That's the muscle in the middle of the shoulder. When we do this exercise with our thumbs towards the sky, we tend to isolate our anterior delt, or the front of the shoulder, which tends to get a lot of work, especially if you work a lot on computers. So we want to create balance in the shoulder, swap sides, by working through the middle portion of the shoulder. And we're going to do a little bit of overhead work today. So we want to activate those medial deltoids, the middle of the shoulder muscles, because we're going to be doing some work that will activate the front of the shoulder. So again, just providing a little bit of balance. Box squats. So again, sitting down on the box first to get a good position. Feel like your feet are an adequate distance away from the box that you can stand easily. I'm using my hands to the front to allow myself just a little bit of balance, or a little bit of counterbalance. I'm going to do 12 or 15 of these weight-free. Again, the idea of this is to just start my warm-up phase. Now, at the moment, I'm quite inflamed in my body. My elbows are sore, my hips are sore, my knees are sore, all my joints are feeling a bit inflamed. So I'm using a lighter weight than ordinary today. Usually I'd put a bit of weight on for a lot of these exercises. Okay, last exercise, we are going to do some kickbacks. I'm using the band around my calf here, and I'm kicking not directly back, but slightly out to the side. The muscle group we're using here is glute medius, and this is the muscle kind of at the back and the side of the bum. So again, if you do lots of walking, if you do lots of running, that muscle tends to be a little bit neglected and tends to be quite weak, because we tend to use the front of our bodies a little bit more. So you can see a bit better from this angle how I'm coming out to the side and not directly back. And I'm just doing 10 on either side. That's a great warm-up set for the upper and lower bodies. So I've done shoulders and hips there. Okay, so we're going to move to our main set. Now, for the first set here, again, you can do this with a kettlebell in your hands if you like. So, but I love the Renegade Row because there's a kind of an oblique angle on the press. So I'm trying to get my positioning right here. Now you can see I'm not even coming down to 90 degrees here. My hips are very sore, but I'm sitting down and then pressing up and out. So I'm trying to come to a spot that's comfortable for me. And even my upper body positioning here, I'm leaning forward quite a bit, which isn't ideal, but I'm going to slowly work at getting my mobility back in this position. I'd like to be a little bit more upright in my squat. So coming to 90 degrees, and then as I stand, pressing upwards. So if you're using a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you're going to be pressing far more upright above your head as opposed to out at that oblique angle. So I've done 12 of those, and now I'm going to do a static hang, or what people refer to as a hollow hold. Now, again, if you don't have access to this stuff, what we're predominantly working here is grip strength. So you could do something like a farmer's carry. And that's where you lift 2 heavy weights, as heavy as you can lift them, and walk with them for 20 steps in one direction and 20 steps back. Now here, I'm going to hold this for as long as I can. I'm just after surgery on my wrist, so my holding duration is quite short. I'm at 15 seconds there. But see how long you can hold it for. And every time you do that exercise, aim to get 1 second more. Okay, so I'm into a prone row now. And again, elbows are sore today, so I'm starting with a moderate weight. I'm going for 15 reps because my weight is lighter, and I'm not doing a full strength exercise. I want to go for endurance. So I'm going to swap sides. So in total, this session should take you about 15 or 16 minutes, depending on how long you hold your hollow hold for. Okay, so I'm popping that weight back because I'm going to go heavier for the next round. So you might find at any time that you pick up a weight that feels a little bit easier, a little bit difficult, it's okay to change your weights between rounds. So I'm coming back here now, and we're going to repeat the hollow hold in this position. So now you can make this easier by bringing your toes towards the sky. So the more vertical your toes are, the easier this exercise is. Flatten your lower back into the ground, lift your shoulders so that you're scooping through the center line. And now we're going to cycle the legs. So changing from one side to the other. And you can reach towards the ankle that's coming towards you if you like. I'm not in this round, but I will in another round. Again, don't zoom through this exercise. I want you to do this in a slow, controlled manner. And hug those knees into the chest. Okay, so we're going to take a 20-second break. You see me climbing off the floor very slowly, a little bit out of puff. So you'll find that this session, when you're using moderate weights, doesn't really floor you, okay? So it shouldn't floor you. But if you want to increase the intensity, I would increase the size of the weights you're using as opposed to speeding through it. You want to do this series nice and slow and controlled so that you're actively working the muscles that you want to be working. So let's go back to our landmine press. Now we're swapping to a one-armed press. So just watch me get my position. Okay, so for the first one, again on the right hand side, I'm a little bit stronger because it's my left hip that's causing problems at the moment. And I can see when I do this exercise that I'm rotating my body. So as I come down, I'm bringing my shoulder, my hip backwards. I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm doing 6 on each side, and I'm much stiffer on this side. It's my left hip that's causing the issues. So again, this is something for me to watch. If I went for a really heavy weight for this exercise, I would just power through it. And I wouldn't take notice of how my body is moving and the fact that it's moving in a way that isn't really conducive to developing strength in a positive manner. So there are things that I'm picking up here and that I'm feeling that I know I need to improve on. So we're back to the hollow hold, and I've aimed in this segment to increase by 5 seconds. So when I started back to doing these hollow holds, I couldn't grip the bar for 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds, and my thumb would just give way. So I'm up to 20 seconds in this round. And I'm creating a hollow hold because I want to flatten out my lower back. I do that by bringing my legs to the front and by engaging through my shoulder blades. And that's going to help me progress to my toes to bar later on. So I'm coming into my prone row again. I've gone for a heavier weight. And again, I want to bring that weight back to my pocket. Now, ideally, I would like to have a straighter back here. Swapping sides. Okay, so my positioning is a bit better on this side, as you can see. I've got a flatter back. I'm a little bit more prone. The more upright you are, the more you're working into the tops of the shoulders, around the sides of the neck. And I mean, if you like that look, that's fine. I don't particularly want big traps up along the sides of my shoulders, and I tend to hold a lot of stress in my shoulders as well, so that's not an area that I want to work more. And I spend a lot of time on the computer, so that exercise for me is very important at keeping my shoulders healthy and ensuring I don't get neck and shoulder pain. Okay, we're onto the ground, back to our bike hold. So you can see each time now I'm reaching up towards that ankle to tap that ankle. And I'm making it a bit more difficult by bringing my heels parallel to the floor. Okay. You can go for another few there if you like. By all means, do 10 on either side. I think I did 10 on either side there, actually. You can do 15 or 20 on either side if you like. So I'm actually just rolling my lower back here now and doing some shoulder bridges just to mobilize my lumbar spine. So rolling down, I just feel a bit tight through the fronts of my legs. So I'm using this as a mobility opportunity to mobilize my hip flexors and the fronts of my thighs. Hip flexors are the muscles that run from the tops of the fronts of your thighs through the middle of your body into your lower back. So my lower back was feeling tight lying down doing this exercise, so mobilizing the hip flexors was the way to go. Okay, let's give ourselves just a moment to recover. And we'll go into our final round. So 3 rounds is ideal. That's going to give you 15 minutes. By all means, do a 4th round if you like. If you have 20 minutes, go for it. So single arm again, I'm choosing to start on my weaker side this time. 6 reps. To give myself the opportunity to be stronger on my weaker side rather than starting the weaker side when I'm fatigued. 3, 4, 5. Okay, and swapping sides. I've got a cat in my lap here. You can hear her purring in the background. Okay, so moving on to our hollow hold again. And again, you can, if you choose to change this up a small bit, if you're doing this at home and you don't have a rack to do a hollow hold from, I actually had to stop and recover after that set. If you don't have a rack to do a hollow hold from, you can do your farmer's carry now, picking up a heavy weight. So you definitely want to be going for at least 10 kilos. If you're new to weightlifting, 10 kilos on each side. But whatever you feel comfortable with, if you feel very challenged by that, go with a lighter weight. So again, flattening through my lower back, pulling my belly button back towards my spine, engaging my shoulder blades down, and I'm going for I think 21 or 22 seconds in this hold. So I was delighted to get a better hold this week and to continue to improve my grip strength. Okay, moving on to the next exercise, which is the prone row. And again, pulling that arm back towards the pocket. You can go for 12 to 15 reps here. That's Ninja meowing in the background. Okay, and swapping sides. So as I'm going through my second side here, my watch actually alarmed to say that I was at 15 minutes, and I had a busy morning on, so I didn't do the last set of hollow holds. I finished up here, but you can continue to finish through this set. It should take you about 16 minutes. Enjoy.